Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will examine two Hebrew words that are spelled and pronounced similarly. These two words may be clues pointing towards the season of the Lord's coming, the restoration of Israel, and the end of the age. Let's take a look. Firstly, I apologize if I mispronounce the Hebrew words. Chaos refers to both the fruits harvested as well as the harvest period. Grapes, figs, pomegranates, and possibly the first fruit, olives, are harvested during this time. Kes refers to the end or conclusion of a set period of time. In this verse from the book of Amos in chapter 10, we say kes and kes used at the same time, which I believe is intentional in order to get both the Jews and the Christians to pay close attention. Amos says he saw summer fruit. God tells Amos that an end of time period has come for the Jews, and he will never pass by them as he had in the past. As we will see in the coming slides, this will occur in the future and has not yet been fulfilled. It is clear that God considers the house of Israel his vineyard and his sole purpose the harvesting of grapes. In Joel, we see the vine and the fig tree mentioned together. Farmers in Israel often planted fig trees in the vineyards that would provide some shade for the delicate grapevines from the scorching summer sun. The fig tree is also a symbol of Israel, just like the vineyard as shown in the next passage in Hosea, where God warns them of his departure. Micah prophesied about a coming ruler of Israel who would give them up for a period of time, but then restore them as a nation. Here, during the week before his death, Jesus pronounced the temple desolated and his departure from them until he returns as their coming king. The punishment of the nation is foretold by Micah here. In the next few slides, Paul describes Israel's spiritual condition during Jesus and his day. Here, Paul states that God has not rejected his people, and this is all in line with his sovereignty over the nation as well as to his promise to Abraham. God's mercy to the Gentile people is intended to rouse the jealousy of Israel. Israel was not spared God's judgment, which was inflicted by the Romans in 70 AD. God is a masterful gardener. He can prune off branches, graft and regraft them back in as he wills, based on our response to him. We too need to continue in his kindness. We do not want to hear, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Christians await the fullness of the Gentiles coming in when we, the wheat, are gathered. When the wheat grains are in the master's barn, we will stand before him. Pray that you are accounted worthy for this. Don't allow sin and worldliness cause you to slumber so that the day of the Lord takes you by surprise. Videos regarding the day of the Lord and the outer darkness are also posted on my channel. The Song of Songs, also called the Song of Solomon, is indeed a wonderful love story on the surface. However, don't let anyone deceive you that it is only about romantic and sexual relationships between men and women. The book has deep symbols regarding the coming of the bridegroom for his bride. It is rich in harvest and seasonal imagery. His love is beckoned to arise and come away with him after the rains of the winter have passed and the vineyards are in blossom, which happens in the early summer. I've posted another video called Green and Dry, which goes deeper into the times and seasons here on my channel. The bride and her beloved will go out early, long before the summer fruits are ready for harvest. Back to the nation of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 8 is a pivotal chapter in understanding how events will play out for the nation at the end of the age. In verse 7, God said that, unlike migratory birds, his people do not understand his decrees, and by inference, the times and seasons. Verse 13 says the nation is unfruitful. Verse 15 shows that they will have no peace, no good, no healing, but only terror in the time of Jacob's trouble, identified later in chapter 30, verse 7. Lastly, verse 20 infers that the nation expects salvation at the time of summer harvest, but they will know it is too late for them when it is past. This excerpt is from a book by a Messianic rabbi. He too here is talking about the dry period. This table shows the agricultural calendar of Israel with the equivalent Western months, farm activities, climate of Israel, and the feasts as commanded by God in the Mosaic Law. Note the placement of Pentecost and the wheat harvest, then Atonement Tabernacles and fruit harvest as bookends of the dry season. The feasts are harvest celebrations and are synonymous with salvation. With summer ended, as noted in Jeremiah 8:20 that we just read, Israel will have only rain and judgment to look forward to. Haggai notes no harvest of fruit. No wine nor oil will be available. But there is good news. Their Messiah, Jesus Christ, will extend his hand to them a second time, never to be passed by again. He will take his throne rightfully in Jerusalem and reign for 1,000 years. Amen. So we see the Christian response. We need to watch ourselves, stay awake and pray. The bride's beloved will come to take her away after the winter rains and long before the grape harvest. I think we have to watch, especially for Pentecost, known as the Feast of Weeks, at the time of the wheat harvest. Thanks again so much for watching, and please like and subscribe.